Here to talk gluten-free because a little over a year ago, Andy was diagnosed celiac, and it's been an interesting journey.
Yes. Yes, it has. I knew there was something wrong. I was having a lot of skin irritations as well as, gosh, I think I dropped like maybe about 25 pounds.
I don't know. He was a skinny little thing when I met him.
And it was because I wasn't processing the wheat. I wasn't processing the...
Well, you weren't actually absorbing nutrients.
Yeah, the
into
nutrients.
into your intestines, because they sort of shut down when this happens.
So I had the genetic test done, and sure enough, I am celiac.
See, my version of it's a little more comical than that. I mean, tragic and comical at the same time, because you were having all kinds of, let's just say, digestive problems. And they were bad enough that I remember you were like, I'm going to the doctor. I can't stand this anymore. There's something wrong. And they did all the usual traveler's diarrhea and blah, blah, and all that kind of stuff. And then everything came back negative. And a couple days went by and you were like, no, this is stupid. There's got to be something wrong. And your doctor said to you, well, there's one more test I can do, but it's a real long shot. It's not going to show anything. And it was the gluten antibody tests. And your numbers were like off the charts when it came back.
Yeah.
And I remember you found out on Halloween a year ago.
Yes, I did.
And the first thing I said to you was, well, look on the bright side. Wine doesn't have gluten, because you hadn't been drinking for weeks. They put you on that brat diet, which would actually make gluten sensitivity worse, because it would have a lot of bread in it.
And I was eating, oh gosh, maybe 6 to 8 pieces of toast a day.
Yeah.
Which was just terrible.
And
just
feeling awful.
The worst thing I could have done, and I was doing that, and yeah.
But I remember I got home on Halloween, and he was on his second bottle of wine, and he was passing out 10 pieces of candy to each kid.
Yeah.
And he was a happy little camper.
Yes, I was. And to this day, the kids still come back.
Yeah, they do. They're like, that house gives good candy. And I remember saying to you, well, you know, when you start to crave it, and you will, and you're like, nope, I feel better. I'm never going to eat gluten again. I'm good. I'm good. But after a while, it's like any diet, isn't it? And even though you know your body doesn't like it, you still tend to want it to some extent.
I mean, for a while there, you're like, the sickness is so bad, you're like, I never want to do that again. And then you start putting weight on, and you start feeling a little better. And occasionally, I mean, I don't go as far as to eat a bagel or toast or anything like that, but I will rarely have, you know, something that might have had cross-contamination, or, you know, there might be a little sliver of something in there. And for the most part, I've been pretty good. Occasionally, I do pay for it, but for the most part, I've been pretty good. One of the things, we sit down and we talk about what we're going to do for the year, and one of them I asked, hey, there's this gluten-free festival that's happening in Oregon, Portland. I think I'd like to go. And we went and had such a great time. You're always on guard when you're celiac. You're always like dissecting everything, reading the ingredients on everything. And if I have to question it, I just say no.
Because people still give you a bad time, you know? You say, oh, I can't eat sandwiches.
Yeah.
And they're like thinking, oh, he's just being precious. And
Yeah.
it could actually
today
give you
at work,
cancer or kill you.
You know, I had my gluten-free chicken nuggets, and that was my lunch. And everyone there knows what I am, and is it gluten-free? Is it gluten-free? It's funny. The truck drivers walk in. Hey, Andy, what are you eating? Is it gluten-free? And
are they teasing you, or are they serious?
probably
Some
50
of
and
each.
50,
Yeah.
yeah. But occasionally I'll say, hey, do you want to try some? And they're like, yeah. Hey, this isn't bad, you know?
Yeah. It's Sharon here. I wanted to give you an update to Sharon's end of Andy's celiac story, because Sharon's health comes into it too. And when this happened to Andy, I did start researching a little bit. It didn't occur to me to put two and two together with my own health until very recently. In late 2014, I came back from Sydney, Australia, where I had been living for the past 20 years. I grew up here, came back at that time. And for the first year, my health was fine. After I'd been back for about a year, my health started failing a little bit. They would say, you're just getting old, here are some anti-inflammatories, you'll have to learn to live with it. Well, this didn't sit very well with me. I believe you gotta get to the cause rather than just throw a pill at it and hope for the best. And I'd like to point out, I'm not yet 50. I don't believe I should be getting these old people diseases at this point or this severely. So flash to about 3 months ago, I started to experience IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome, which is really a broad term that is used, especially in this country, to describe the fact that your digestion's all messed up and they don't really know why. And one day, a little over a month ago, it's late February now, this would have been late January, early February, I turned to Andrew and I said, you know, this irritable bowels are really pissing me off, but I don't feel like I can do anything about it. I had the gluten antibody test back in 2010. Just as a matter of course, I get blood tests every year to make sure my levels of vitamins are okay and things like that. And I'd had the test and it came back decidedly negative. So I figured that meant I was good. And I said, and besides, we don't have any gluten in the house, so I don't eat very much gluten. Well, that was the wrong thing to say to somebody who's celiac and who notices the gluten that everyone else eats. He said to me, Tuesday you had a sandwich. Wednesday you had pizza. He said, if you're really going to try gluten-free, you need to try it 100% and be dedicated to it for a period of time and see if it makes a difference. So in early February, I took up the challenge and I went completely 100% gluten-free. After 24 hours, all of the irritable bowel symptoms went away. All of them. I would say on about day 3, life got really interesting because the years and years of edema that I've had, and this has been getting worse and worse over time. In the past 2 years, I've actually gone up one size in shoes from a 9 to a 10 because it was so painful to have my shoes on in the afternoon because my ankles would swell up so much. And in fact, in the past year, I've started wearing clogs because I can't stand to have anything around my ankles. By day 3 of eating no gluten, my ankles were not swollen at all anymore. Not at all. I'm back to a size 9. It has stayed that way. We're probably 3 weeks into it. Not once have they swollen up again. Now, initially I thought that must be some sort of coincidence because it's too easy. Then complaint 2. From about days 3 to 5, I noticed that I was completely pain-free. My back and my ankles, which had still had some pain, there was no pain anymore. 0 pain. Wow. Could there be something to this? still, this is really too easy. It can't be that easy. So time went on. I actually started researching a little bit more for this article, and I thought I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into symptoms because I think it's odd that these two things have gone away. And I found out that they are quite common symptoms of gluten intolerance. So I kept searching, and I found on the list peripheral neuropathy is one of the main ones. And I hadn't noticed because I'm not really in pain from that. It's just an odd sensation sometimes when you wake up to have a hand or a foot that's fallen asleep, or multiple. And I thought, wow, that's on the list. The next morning I woke up and I realized I hadn't had any peripheral neuropathy in 5 or 6 days. That also has gone on. I've had none. So now I was believing there was something to it. This was about a week into it. So now I've jumped on the bandwagon with Andrew. Certainly I'm not going to ever eat gluten again, or not very much. I'm sure I will fall off the wagon, but certainly I'm not going to eat gluten as long as these old people symptoms that I'm just going to have to learn to live with have gone away. If they start to come back, I might reconsider, but at almost a month into it, I'm pretty sure they're gone. And it's astounding. So my message to you is, if you have any complaints and the doctors are saying, that's normal, you're just going to have to learn to live with it, you're just getting old, or we don't think that's really an issue, it's not that bad. Apparently my edema was not that bad. I couldn't walk, but it wasn't that bad. I guess they see worse cases, but if you have something like that happening, don't even bother with the gluten tests. Just take it on yourself to go ahead and get off gluten 100% for about a month. They say 6 weeks, but certainly if you are 100% off of it and it is the main cause of your issues, I think you see it go away pretty fast. Andrew certainly, after 1 or 2 days, his digestion, which had been messed up for a good 3 months, it was gone. Same for me, 1 or 2 days. So if you do have digestive complaints and you are 100% off the gluten, it should help really fast. If you have other symptoms, they might take a little longer, but I would say after a week, you'll know if you're heading in the right direction. And you will actually not want to eat gluten anymore because you feel so much better.
If you liked our gluten-free video and found it useful, please be sure to subscribe below, check out the links that we've left for you, and be sure to hit the notification button so that you find out when we post new things like our exciting gluten-free beer tasting that's coming up. Have a great day!